Hello everybody, hope you're having a lovely evening so far. Sorry for the slight delay, I had to sort one little thing out before I started. Hello. So this is officially day 2 of our 30k Lion. This is where we got to yesterday. We didn't do much yesterday, just because we did quite a bit. We did it for 2 hours, but in comparison to like the grand scheme of things for the whole figure itself, we barely touched the surface. But that's okay, because it's going to be a bit of a project to get this done anyway. So yesterday we painted the blue on all of our figures on the bottom here. My cat is trying to drink my water. Please don't do that, cat. Last time you tried that, you ended up knocking it everywhere, all over my desk, and I have a laptop, so please don't do that. And we also started on Lion, where the only thing I managed to do on Lion yesterday was his furs, and this is actually, it's very dark greenish black, but it's actually a dark greenish black. I'm going to do a second coat of that today, just to really amplify that green colour a bit, and also to make sure there's no streakiness. Good evening, hello Gray, how are you doing? And then we're going to focus on mostly working on Lion today, and we'll move on to the base more towards the end when that's actually finished. I currently am trying to distract my cat because he is very, very interested in the water. And the last time I had this water out with him, he ended up knocking all over my desk and nearly destroying my laptop, which I really don't need the stress of. So I'm using a little laser pen to kind of keep him distracted. And because he's a strange cat who likes to chase paintbrushes, old paintbrushes as well. So every now and then I'm just chucking with an old paintbrush into my living room for him to chase / play with, and it keeps him entertained briefly. Mossy Caligo, good evening, how are you doing? For the cape, I did some Caliban green mixed with some Abaddon black, so I'm going to mix those up again now so I can do my second coat. I think today's going to be one of those days where my cat is just incredibly interested in everything I'm doing. He will not get off the table and will not get off the microphone or anything. So if things go a little bit awry, I do apologise. I'm currently trying to battle him being... So that was him knocking the mic then. I'm currently trying to battle him being quote-unquote helpful when he's really not helpful. But, you know, in his sweet, innocent little mind, he's being really, really helpful. I've never known a cat be so obsessed with paintbrushes in my life. Bearing in mind we have 4, so I really should, like, know, or should have known by this point, another cat like him, but nope, none quite as obsessed as him. But how is everybody? How's everybody doing today? Please don't try and put your feet into the paint as well, cat. That's also not helpful. Caliban green is already quite a dark green, but all I'm essentially doing is darkening up a tiny bit more by adding a little bit of Abaddon black, because the 30k Lion is a lot darker than the 40k Lion, and I want to stick quite close to that colour scheme, so it's not going to be too noticeable really. Like, it's just making that green a little bit darker, like a hint darker than what the green already is. But once I start adding the highlights and stuff, it'll really like amplify this and bring it out a lot more. So it'll be okay. Cat? Now is not the time to be trying to play with my brushes. It's bad enough trying to multitask with an infant all day when you're trying to film a video. Today I've been recording my Valentine's Day video with my infant. Off week, but not too bad. Today has been another crazy day, plumbed in the new dishwasher and new outdoor tap, along with more runs to the tip. I think I twinged my back, man modelling the dishwasher without getting help. That sounds pretty painful, Gray. Why did you do that? You're there thinking, it's fine, I can manage, and now you've hurt yourself. It's not a good idea. So it's off week. Is it just one of those feelings at the moment? Just one of those. I think, to be honest, today is one of those days where I'm feeling a bit meh because I am man. Just because I am man does not give you a good enough excuse to willingly hurt yourself. Well, it does, but you shouldn't. Hurting yourself willingly is not a good idea. Ugh, ugh. Yes, still not good though. Still not good, Grey. Don't willingly do it. Because I'm sure now you're feeling a little bit sorry for yourself. Because you're going, I'm sore. I'm sorry it's having a bit of like an off week, Multi. Is it just one of those, like any particular reason why it's occurred this week? Or is it just a feeling this week of feeling a bit meh? Which I don't blame you. I think we all have weeks like that, days like that. I'm having one of those days today myself, I'm not going to lie. Today's one of those days where I feel a bit meh. But jumping on and streaming obviously really helps with that because I can talk with other people. Obviously Mr. Nerd is home. But it allows me to talk to somebody else other than just my husband and my infant. So, yeah, but I also managed to carry the dishwasher on my own. It was impressive. Yes, it just is impressive. Does not mean it's good for you. Did you manage to get any better sleep last night? No, unfortunately not. That's the reason why I'm having a bit of an off day, to be honest, because as a result I've been quite grumpy, unfortunately. Poor Mr. Nerd, like he's like gone up and had a little nap adequately as well, because little man's been sleeping in the last like hour or so, so he's gone upstairs and had a nap ready to take him for when I'm streaming, so that because this is roughly about the time of night where we normally get quite tired because of lack of sleep. But little man didn't go to sleep till 1 last night, and then was up again at 3 and then up again at 5. So last night was a struggle. So much so that when Mr. Nerd went up to bed, I actually stayed downstairs with little man and I ended up sleeping on the sofa. Because by the time I eventually got him to sleep, he was pretty cozy and I did not want to go upstairs and wake up Mr. Nerd and disturb him. So I put, because we have like a little bassinet downstairs in our living room and then a cot upstairs in our bedroom. So I just put him in the bassinet and I went to sleep on the sofa. I thought you got to pick and choose your battles. If he's asleep and comfy where he is, I'm not moving him and risking waking him up again. So I didn't get much sleep last night. Again, sleep is definitely a struggle at the minute. But it's that thing of I'd rather wake up with him on my own and have me be tired than wake up both of us and have both of us be tired. So it kind of seems counterintuitive, especially when only one of us needs to be awake with him. So it's one of those. But, you know, you live and you learn. Hopefully, over the next couple of days, he'll sleep a bit better because, my goodness, I definitely need it desperately. I'm going to do another coat of Xandri dust on the pelt, just because I only did one coat of this last night. So do some Xandri dust, just to kind of get that pelt looking a little bit less patchy. And then I'm going to use some Rakar flesh to do the claws before we go on to anything else. And that should give the cape long enough to dry that I can then flip them over and start doing some stuff on the front of Lion. But aside from that, you've hurt your back. Is everybody okay? And Multi Caligo, is this your first stream with us, or have you just been silently watching from afar? It's lovely to have you here. Is your little one in her new bunk bed now then, Grey? So it almost sounds like you've got the week off just to do like a full remodel at this rate. You've got a very busy week. Oh, throwing my paint pots, that's not a good idea. I think I can always tell when I've not had the best sleep, because it immediately, like each day when I've not had the best sleep, it immediately feels more overwhelming. So today's one of those days where I just said to Mr. Nerd, I was like, I'm overwhelmed. And he's like, what are you going to do about it? Like, how can you fix this? And I was like, there's not a lot I can do. Because at that point, the little man was wide awake. And like I said, I have video stuff to do, so I was like, I can't really lie down and take a nap. I have to get this done. Because we've got a busy couple of days over the next couple of days. So, and since I have deadlines to meet, so I'm just going to have some food, sit and chill for a minute, and then crack back on with it, which is what I ended up doing. But this is also a bit of leisure time for me as well, being able to just sit and paint and chat with you guys. So this is also a bit of a wind down time for me. So I get a little bit of rest during this time as such. My cat is currently on my table just staring at me, and every time I pick up a new paintbrush he's kind of looking at it like, do I try and take it out of Mum's hand or do I behave myself? Okay, I'm back. Sorry, was winding up the daughter. I guess I could do some painting, or I'm not having a video up to upload this weekend. That's exactly my thinking, Gray. Oh goodness, my cat is already misbehaving. Yeah, like I said, that's what I've been doing today. I've been painting a Valentine's Day figure for Valentine's Day on Saturday. So in addition to being like really sleep deprived and feeling a bit overwhelmed by everything today, it's one of those days where I've just been, when I have spoken, unfortunately I've been really grumpy, or I haven't spoken at all. So unfortunately it's like one of those days where it's a bit meh, but it will get better. It'll be okay. I'm hoping that the little one will give me a little bit of respite and sleep a bit better, hopefully tonight. That will be preferred. But yeah, that's exactly what this is. So I've done my video, or almost finished my figure for Saturday's video. I've just got to do the base on it. And I'm trying to eat my paintbrushes, cat. Sorry, I'm just trying to get the cat off of the table because he's currently trying to eat my brushes. Very distracted stream today so far. Not off to a great start. 15 minutes in and already just not talking very much because I have a cat to try and entertain as well as painting a figure. Like, yes, I don't have my infant, but instead I have a cat who's probably not if not more needy than he is. In fact, I would say he probably is more needy than he is, actually. Just having a little refresher of the colour pattern and colour scheme for Lion right now. Okay. I think I'm going to go in and do some gold now, actually, because obviously a lot of his armour is already black. So I'm not going to do what I did last time and just like paint black areas black. I'm going to kind of just touch up areas with it and keep it clean. But for now, I'm going to go in with some Retributor armour. Cat, please don't knock the microphone as well. God, I'm having a mare of it today. How much work have you got left to do around the house now, Gray? Sorry, again, I've got a cat trying to steal my paintbrush right out of my hand right now, so I'm currently having to fight him off. With great difficulty. Because he's having none of it. He's trying to put up a fight. In every sense of the word. And it's just not accepting that the paintbrushes are not for him to eat. But you're not quite grasping that, are you, buddy? Some new facing boards in the kitchen, a shelf for the microwave, and a final tip run, I think. Not too much more, then. You've been very busy. Like I said, you're now on a first name basis. Oh, and work surface in the utility room. So still busy. Still got a fair bit to do, but you have been very busy up until now, anyway. Right now, I'm in the process of, I was thinking about it a bit today, like I need to find something else to do during my maternity leave that isn't just YouTube stuff. Because as much as obviously it's great doing the YouTube stuff and the streaming, between if the only things I'm doing are being mum and YouTube, I know I'm going to get quite like tiresome of it. So I need to find something else to fill the time as well. I need to find another hobby. I just don't know what that hobby should be. It's been the busiest week off I think I've ever had. Yeah, I don't doubt that for a single second, my friend. You'll go back to work and you'll need a week off from your week off. It's like sometimes, even if you go on holiday, you sometimes feel like you need a week off from your time off to rain. So, that's probably a very good idea. I'm just trying to think of some stuff to do. Because I've been picking up books and reading a bit more. Again, I used to, like, I actually have an English literature degree. So, books used to be my entire life for the better part of 4 years. And obviously, it was before that I loved it, and that's why I did English literature. And then I studied them for 4 years. And then as a result, it kind of killed the art of reading for me for a bit. but I'm trying to get back into just picking up a book and reading for the sake of reading, because at the moment I am very guilty of, if I'm sat on the sofa, I will just pick up my phone and go on my phone rather than picking up something that's obviously a bit more, beneficial for my brain. Even if some of the books I read are questionable. But social media will just completely rock my brain. So I'm trying to find an alternative that allows me to still do YouTube, have a hobby / a relaxation downtime bit, and then also still do all of it and be mum. So it's a lot to figure out, but I'll get there. Slowly but surely I will get there. My problem is I don't want to fall into the trap almost of making every available thing I do during this year, because obviously I've got a whole year off. I've got a lot of time. I want to do as much as I can for this, but also still have time that's not dedicated to YouTube and mum life, because it's going to be difficult. But I tried doing it a bit whilst Mr. Neb was off. Sorry, I apologise for that part. Whilst Mr. Neb was off, I did most of my work. I was doing a lot of this stuff. But the only negative is I then picked up a book whilst he was away. Binge watched some anime, also a good idea. I had every intention of reading this book from cover to cover. I've got 4 chapters in. That was 2 weeks ago and I haven't picked up again since because I've been too busy. And then when I haven't been busy, I've just been tired. So I've just been trying to sleep and catch up on sleep. And then, yeah, it's been difficult. It's been hard. A really hard last couple of weeks. So, but with time it will get easier. It's just right now it's quite difficult. But I'm trying my best to still be mum, do YouTube, and maintain some semblance of sanity, whatever that is. A few people were like, yeah, just record a bunch of TV shows and watch those whilst you're away. I'm like, yeah, but I'm gone for a year. That's a lot of TV to watch, but also I just know I'd get really bored after a day or two of doing that. And unfortunately I have both a really bad memory and a really short attention span. So it makes it difficult for me to concentrate. This is okay because obviously it keeps my brain and my hands engaged. But I find myself I can't just sit still and do stuff. I have to do something constantly. My cat's now hugging my laptop and trying to bite it. Why have I got such weird animals? He's now trying to walk on my laptop as well. Oh, goodness. Here's me saying this is my downtime and I'm literally just watching a cat like a hawk, making sure it doesn't destroy my setup or stand on something and press something I don't understand. I love him dearly, but I do wish sometimes he was less involved with what I do whenever I'm painting. I wish sometimes he would just be the type of cat that would just be like, okay, I'm bored of you now, I'm going to go sit down and sleep. But instead he's like, nope, I must know exactly what you're doing and be involved with it at all times. I keep having to take my water off the table and put it on like the bench next to me, because every time I kind of look up, my cat's just like there again, trying to stick his face into the pot. Which is quite terrifying. I'm like, no, please don't. Because last time I very narrowly avoided a near miss, and it just missed my laptop the last time he did that. So I was like, oh god, please don't do it again. Please, for the love of everything that's good, do not do it again. Right, I'm going to go in with some lead belcher now, so I'm sticking with the metallics. And work on his other shoulder piece. And some of the other little elements that he's got around him. Just grab a different one actually, because this one's almost all used up. I have so many pots of lead belcher, it's ridiculous. There we go, that's much better. My cats are trying to eat everything on my desk. What is going on today? He's woken up and chosen violence. In typical fashion, he's been asleep for like the last 2 hours. And then as soon as I'm like gearing up to stream, he's like, okay, it's time for me to go annoy mum now. It's not going to be a very great stream if you just keep getting in the way, mate. Has anyone got any more plans for the rest of this evening? I know, Gray, you said you've got something to work on, obviously, for this weekend, so you have a video. Any ideas as to what you're going to be working on? Had really bad floods because all the weather's been really, really bad at the moment. A lot of where we live is flooded, so every now and then I keep looking on like my local groups and stuff, and it's like, yeah, don't bother coming into this building today or this piece of work because it's completely flooded, and it's like, oh dear. I've acquired many thin hardboard panels in our mass clear out, which are going to be great for making scatter terrain bases. I kind of want to get started on some of my hobby magpie. Bear me 1 minute, guys. My cat's trying to pull on wires now. No internet hiccup, that is just my cat deciding that he would pull out all the wires. So he pulled out my microphone, he pulled out my camera, everything, because I clearly was not giving him enough attention. But that is a new one for him. I mean, he's never gone for my wires before in an attempt to get at my stuff. But yeah, it's a first for everything, I guess. He's just woken up and chosen violence today. I don't know why. Honestly. But everything's good now, we're back. I can see my hand moving on screen, everything's fine. And you guys can hear me, so everything's good. Yeah, it just randomly started biting on my wires. I was like, what are you doing? That's a first. Like, I've had a cat accidentally get caught on the wires before. And, like, accidentally pull one out, but not actively go at them with his teeth and try and yank everything out. So you're a bit of a hobby magpie. Like, I'm the opposite. Like, I want to do hobbies, I just don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. Clearly they require more attention. Exactly. Like I said, he's been asleep for like the last 2.5 hours. And then I had about a good half an hour before I was streaming where he woke up. So I got up and went over and cuddled him. Like, once I'd set everything up for the stream, like everything was set up on my desk, ready to go. So I just went inside to cuddle him for a bit, you know, actually give him the attention, completely undivided, because all the other cats are off doing their own thing, you know, being regular cats and just not really that interested. And he just clearly decided that that was not enough. And decided that you all needed to suffer as well. In his mind, there was no stream, not allowed. Because he's clearly attention deprived in his little mind. Listen, you are the token human, you do not get to define the feline schedule. Exactly. I don't get to define anything when it comes to, well, animals in general. No one gets to define anything with animals. Because the other one, actually, that our cat does, our cats have figured out now that he can pick up his bowl and throw it. So if he's not getting fed, like, bearing in mind, it's normally, like, say 4 in the morning, because obviously I've been awake normally at this time every day recently because of baby. So we get like 4 in the morning and the cat's like, I'm awake, therefore I need to have my breakfast. It's like, no, you're not having your breakfast for another 2 hours minimum. Like, you'll get breakfast at 6 o'clock. And then he's like, I don't think that's a sufficient enough answer. And he'll just pick up his bowl and throw it across the kitchen. And I'm like, geez, worse than a like temperamental teenager, honestly. Choice of cats. I love them dearly, I do, genuinely, but sometimes I do wonder if they even like me. Because because some of their behaviour is definitely questionable and would suggest otherwise. Yeah, tomorrow, because like I said before on this stream, I have 2 YouTube channels. So I've got to finish off, after this stream I've got to do dinner, because we still haven't eaten dinner. I then have to finish off the figure, so to his base, just his base I have left to do now. I then need to, tomorrow I need to record and edit a video, well, record, edit and upload a video for tomorrow for my other channel, my lore channel. And then I need to edit and record the audio for Saturday's video, because on Saturday we're out of the house all day, whilst also trying to be mum and care for a newborn. So yeah, I'm very, very busy at the moment. Too busy almost. Okay, I think that's almost all the silver parts. I'm gonna go back in with that retributor armor now and just do this part on the back of his pack. Because at the moment, on average, I do between 3 to 4 videos a week. Because sometimes on early matches I'll do 2 a week, sometimes I only do 1. It just depends on what I've got going on, and also how busy I am and if I have the time. Because sometimes, especially at the moment, I can spend the day recording and editing a video or painting a figure, but then the nature of obviously being a new mum with a newborn, some days there are days where he just won't settle enough or long enough for me to record audio, and at that point I'm not going to try and force myself to do it and risk putting out work that is subpar because of the fact that I tried to just get something out in a rush when all you can hear in the background is a screaming infant, which I'm not going to do for anybody, because nobody really wants to hear babies cry, especially not people on the internet who don't, you know, need to hear a baby cry. A few times where I've recorded some audio and you can hear like baby cooing in the background. And, like, cooing's quite cute. You don't mind the odd like baby coo or something like that, but you don't want to hear crying or screaming. Obviously, you said you hurt your back, Gray. Are you also the typical man who's going to take painkillers, or are you going to be like, no, it's fine, I don't need to take pain relief? Because I know both kinds. Like a lot of his equipment, like on his armor, is a lot more detailed on the 30k figure than it is on the 40k one. I'll take some if it gets worse, otherwise I'll just sleep it off. If you can sleep it off and manage it that way, great. But obviously if it gets worse, then please take something. Because there's nothing worse when people sit there and go, oh, I'm fine. And then they just sit there and go, ooh, all day. Because you will get something. You do get people like that. I've met so many, too many in my life. Actually, I would argue most people in my life, unfortunately, are more like that than inclined to just go, I'll just take some painkillers. A little sip of my drink. I'm just debating, like, obviously certain parts of this, there is no real right or wrong when it comes to how I paint it, so I'm just debating where else I want the gold. Mum's still visiting and she's got some good painkillers, so if it's bad I'll borrow some, lol. It's probably a good idea, to be honest. Cat, please stop chewing on my wires. Yep, I'm still good. Cat really is choosing violence today. Just got back up and was like, which wire should I try and pull out now? He's got a pretty full household at the minute then, Grey. Keep having to like temporarily pause the audio. My cat's just causing so much chaos. Cats, cat, singular. The other three are... Yep, and the brother has stopped by for the evening too. It's all go here. Very, very busy household. Luckily, we are all nerds, and he's into nerds. That's okay then. I don't know what else to give Necrons and Custodies. Very nice. I don't know what else to give my cat to keep him entertained, because I've given him one of the old paintbrushes, I've used a laser pointer. He is still far too interested in my wires. He's never shown interest in wires before. This is now a problem I did not expect to have. I always find, like, I always delay putting off, like, having dinner until after streams. And then as soon as my stream ends, I really don't have the energy to cook. It's a problem. Because that's when one or two things happen. Either I just decide not to have dinner, or I order takeaway. Which is, one's very expensive and one's very bad for me. Well, both very bad for me, but not eating's worse for me than eating takeaway. But, yeah. Normally, still a very bad idea regardless. But, like I said, I was literally painting up until half an hour before the stream today, and I've been painting since about 11 o'clock. So, I've just basically done back-to-back projects. So I've done my video, and now my stream, and then I'm going to have dinner, and then either tonight or tomorrow morning I'll finish off that figure for Saturday. Depends on how tired I get later, and how restless little man is. If he's being well behaved and sleeping, then I'll get my head down and try and get some hours. Because the very first night that Mr. Nerd was back, it was okay, because even though he was up at 3 in the morning, Mr. Nerd not cook, he can, but essentially he's got a condition that makes his hands shake quite badly, so it's safer for him not to cook. Because having trembling hands and knives is not a good combination. So I tend to do the cooking just because it's genuinely safer. For him and for me. Understood, yes. The very first time he figured it out was actually on Christmas Eve, the first year we moved here. And I was working and I came home and most of his fingers were bandaged up and he'd sliced through 3 of his fingers. Sorry for it being gory, but yeah, he cut through quite deep into 3 of his fingers. And really should have gone to hospital, but didn't. Just kind of bandaged them at home. And, you know, the typical way of, it's fine, we'll manage. Really should have gone to hospital. It was a bad cut. So since then, we're like, no, if you're only cooking on the odd occasion, for the most part, it's me. But to be honest as well, I also get why Mr. Nub wouldn't want to cook after the streams, because there's some days where the wee man will literally, sometimes he'll cry for a little bit and then go back to sleep, and then other times he will essentially cry for the entire duration of the 2-hour stream. If there's only a little blood, doesn't even count. It was more than a little blood, I'm not going to lie. My kitten, even though they tried to clean it up, I still found blood on my floor and all sorts. It was everywhere. It was bad. It was really bad, Grey. Well, I suppose I've only been at work for like 4 hours. I wasn't even gone that long. It was a Christmas Eve shift, so it was like a shorter shift for me. Cat is back. Got inspired watching your stream yesterday, sat down and assembled 3 Saturnites and then went to school. My mum thought the separate parts were things to throw out. I am one Christmas present for you. Awesome. I'm really glad you got some inspiration and felt the need to get up and get some building done. My cat is now trying to drink my water. Honestly, he is really not giving me any breaks at all today. But how are you, Piotr? Are you okay? Rough, yeah. So if I have a headphone in so I can like hear the music that's playing to make sure it's not like too loud, too quiet or anything like that, and also so I know what song's playing. Because some of the songs on this playlist are a little bit meh, so I try to change some of them every now and then. And every now and then I'm like, I have to take it out because I'm like, am I hearing Phantom crying or is he actually crying? Baby is silent at the moment, but he was crying a minute ago. But like I said, I'm so in tune to his cries at the moment that even with a headphone in, I'm like, I can hear him. What's going on? And it just sends my brain into a bit of a frenzy. Right, I think it's time to start adding some brightness into the figure now. And slightly bigger brush for that though. Yeah, I'm glad you got some building done. Unfortunately, I'm sorry something got thrown out, but at least you've got some inspiration. Did you manage to get back out of the rubbish? Yeah, I get Warhammer only for my uncle, or if I save up, and I only see my uncle 3 times a year. This Lion model looks so nice. Thank you. It is a really, really cool figure. So I'm looking forward to finishing him. He's in that stage right now where I'm a bit like, because I always get this. Whenever I do like a bigger figure, I always feel a bit meh about them to begin with when I'm painting them because they're in that awkward, nowhere near done stage, and it always makes me feel a little bit like, oof, this could be rough. But obviously, the more I do it, the more attention I spend on it, then it's better. But sometimes it's hard. Right. I'm going to go in with some Rakarth flesh now, and I'm going to paint the underside of his cape and also the loincloth that he's got going on at the front here. A slightly bigger brush for this though. There we go. That's enough paint. It's obviously nice for you to have like a little something for you and your uncle as well. Shared hobby. He does like both like a large marine, but also a bit etheric. I hope the word means the same in English as it does in Polish, like a wood knight or a sleeping knight. It does, yes. It's like an etheric, ethereal kind of vibe, where it's a bit mystical and magical. Good evening, Gretel. How are you doing? My cat is already looking at my wires again. Please don't. Earlier on, Krytor, the only thing you really missed is my cat deciding that he doesn't get enough attention. Just getting into a game of Ark. My teammate is watching too. Hi. I hope you're well. I'm okay. Today's one of those days where it's been a little bit of a meh day. But I think it's because of lack of sleep is kind of catching up a little bit. So I'm feeling a little bit run down and a little bit overwhelmed. So, but we're getting there. I think, to be honest, having a little bit of a time to sit down and just paint and talk with other people is quite nice. So it's quite nice to kind of decompress in that way, rather than just having to paint for a video. For a lot of this figure, he is black, so a lot of his arm is like black with like green tints to it, so I'm kind of enjoying the fact I can add a bit of brightness right now, because he's going to be a lot darker than the other one. Only negatives because I've done a black base. Every light colour is going to need multiple coats just to make sure it's got enough coverage. How's your day been, Krytor? Have you been up to much? I know Gray's nursing his bad back after being manly man and moving dishwasher on his own. And obviously, Piotr, you went to school. Have you got up to anything else today? Ugh, indeed, Gray. Manly man moves dishwasher, manly man hurts back. Manly man says ugh ugh. All work. Yeah, in typical fashion, like it's getting to the point now where Mr. Nab will a lot of the time manage to get the wee one to sleep. And then we'll kind of leave him for 20 minutes, half an hour where he's still asleep, and that's the time where I can kind of do anything else. But then the moment he wakes up again, it's either one or two. He'll then stay awake until 1 in the morning, and then I'm awake with him till 1 in the morning. Or he'll drift back off, and then he'll have like a 2-3 hour window of kind of broken sleep where I can get stuff in between done. It really depends, but yesterday was unfortunately one of those days where as soon as he woke up at about 9:30, he was awake till 1 in the morning. And he was in that stage where he was just fighting the sleep. Like you could see his eyes were closing, he was getting all droopy, his body would go limp because he's obviously giving in, and then all of a sudden he'd lift his head up and bolt up and start cooing or crying or something. But nope, I'm not tired. Like, yes, you are. You are, mate. Just go to sleep. Surrender to the sleep. Trust me, it is the most magical thing in the world. But not to an infant. No, no, no. To an infant, sleep is the enemy. Can miss out on too many things going on if they sleep. Even at night when there is nothing else going on except for me trying to sleep. But to an infant, that's the most exciting thing in the world, obviously. So we're taking him to Warhammer World for the first time on Saturday. And I'm going to, even though Mr. Ned is home, I'm going to see if at some point in the next week or so my mother-in-law wants to take Wee Man for a day, just so then Mr. Nerd and I can have a bit of time to ourselves. Hopefully we can then catch up on some sleep, make sure the house is nice and clean. Which, to be honest, it's not that bad at the moment. The house is actually, after Saturday when my mother-in-law graciously took him last, I've managed to keep the house pretty clean. It's just sometimes it just turns into a bomb site. But, you know, the child's alive and thriving, so therefore everything's fine. But it just depends. I'm looking forward to my first visit there. Hope to get to catch up on the sleep. Me too. I really hope I do. Are you planning a visit, Grador, for Warhammer World anytime soon? Or is it just on the list of things that you want to do? On the list, my other hobby is clay shooting, and Warhammer World isn't too far from Eton Hall where I do my shoot. Amazing. Looks to be like a good long weekend in the planning. That sounds amazing. Well, like I said, let us know if you are planning on coming, when you're planning on coming, because like I said, Mr. Nerd and I, we don't live that far away from Warhammer World. We do plan on doing like a little meet-up. We're meeting up with Stender in July, so we're more than happy if you are obviously interested. We could meet up there if you would like that. Because obviously the hope for our community is obviously to have a community and have a lovely Discord group, but also to actually make it a community in person as well whenever we can. How often do you go clay shooting? I've never done it myself. Sounds great, I'll look to do that. Only a 3-hour drive. It's not terrible, really. Like, so if you're planning on doing a full weekend for it, then 3 hours is worth it. Most weekends. Awesome. But yeah, like I said, just let us know, and we will happily arrange something. We would love that. Do you go to the same place every time to do your shooting? Or do you go other places as well? I do kind of wish this cape was off so I could get underneath here a lot easier. So apologies, my thumb's kind of in the way. I'm currently just trying to get in underneath this cape where he's got more of these linens. Just so it looks consistent and not weird. There we go. Yeah, for us it's 45 minutes. No, I don't even think it's that to Warhammer World for us. I actually don't know, because we haven't done it in we haven't done it since before little man was born, so I'm not entirely sure anymore how long it is. I know it's not too far. $40 minutes, it wasn't too far off. Yes, a 40-minute drive from here to Warhammer World for us. So it's not anything too terrible, really. Go do a second coat on this sword whilst I wait for more of the linens to dry, and then I'll go into a second coat on the linens, and then I'm going to go over the black, I think, and just do some more black. I also think I'm tempted to just brighten up the cape a little bit because it is very, very dark. I think I want to go in and make it a bit more vibrant. My cat has finally left me alone for now, though. I say for now because I know he'll come back. We get bored. So for right now, my wires are safe. Krytor, has your missus done any more on the Tyrannid since yesterday? Yeah, I decided I'm going to brighten up the cape. I'm not the happiest with the green. It's too dark for me. So I think I'm going to go in with Castellan green. Because it's still kind of a darker green. But it'll be a bit more vibrant than what's on it at the moment. Since most of the figure is black, I don't want it to blend in too much. And obviously when I add the shade paint to this will darken it up a little bit as well. So that's the only reason why I'm happier going in with a slightly lighter green like this. And then when I add the shade paint, it will darken up a little bit. I actually really like this green. I don't think I've used this green before. I need to try and plan to actually leave the house at some point next week. Because there's been a few weeks now in a row where if I'm lucky, I'll leave the house once. But there are some weeks where I won't leave the house at all, which aren't the best for anybody's mental state to be just crammed up in a house. But at the same time, it's also the weekend. Well, it's not the weekend, it's also miserable weather at the moment. Like I said, everything's flooded around here at the moment. So there's certain parts of my town you can't really go anymore at the moment because they are completely flooded. But unfortunately for us where we live, it's the only negative that the start of spring, a lot of the time, that's what it brings for us, is flooding. There we go. I think that's a much better green. Black is highlighted with light greys and blues, right? Yeah, most of the time. In this case, I'm going to use green to highlight it, just because like light greys and blues are great for highlighting blacks. Depending on the project really, sometimes it's nice if you go in and like tie the colours together. So in this case, I'm going to go in with probably in some cases a white highlight and then go over the top with Caliban, just to kind of make the Caliban a little bit more vibrant because this is such a dark figure. So that's what I'm going to do for this project. That's what I did for my last lion as well. I highlighted using Warpstone green, I want to say, which is like a really, really vibrant green. But I still want to keep this a little bit on the darker side in comparison to my 40k figure. I'm just going to paint those claws now just so they are done and drying. And whilst that dries, I'm going to go in with Rakoff Bush again for that, by the way. I'm going to move on to something else. I'm going to continue going on with the backpack. Words. I'll make sense eventually. Don't know who to, but I will make sense. I will eventually be going over these claws and over the entire lion's mane using some skeleton horde, because I think it's quite a nice combination for this. I did a Black Templar armor video recently with blue and grey pics in the Discord. Green highlights work for Dark Angels. Yes, they do. Yeah, your Black Templar, it was amazing, bro. You could also do purples. Really depends on what other colours are on the mini, to be honest. Exactly. Like Scorpion or Caliban style for greens? Yes, exactly. So I'm personally using Caliban green for highlighting my blacks on this one. So it's very aptly named for lion. Just making sure we're getting underneath the claws as well, so that way then there aren't any random black patches. Because the perk of spraying a base of black is that if I do miss any spots, it kind of creates more of like a shadow look, so it kind of looks a bit more intentional. Whereas if I use grey, because normally I use grey sear for spraying, for priming stuff. Unfortunately, sometimes it means if you miss a section, then you've got a big, quite obvious patch where you've missed it. Whereas with black, although it requires more layers, it can be a bit more forgiving in the sense of if you miss a spot, it just looks more like a shadow, especially if you can't get into all the nooks and crannies very well. BLB, no worries. So what colour scheme are you working on at the moment, Piotr? And also, have you tried the Citadel Colours app? Little stretch break. Okay. I'm just having a look at the back and just thinking what else I want to do, colour scheme wise. I think we're going to continue with some more silver, so I'm going to get a little bit more lead belcher out. I think I did this entirely gold last time, but it was a little bit different. I had a little bit more silver this time. Backpack's coming together quite nicely. My cat that was trying to pull out my wires is retarding, so I hope he behaves himself. Because that was pretty annoying. At this rate, the back of this figure is going to be nearly done today. But got a lot of work to do on the front. My prediction is this figure will take me about a week, maybe a week and a half to do in total, including the bases. Because there's a lot of parts to this one. But we shall see. I predicted a week last time, and I think I did it in 4 days. So we'll have to wait and see how long it actually takes me to finish this. Because I feel like I'm making quite good progress. It's just building up the layers is the problem. I think I'm going to hold him by his foot, and I think I'm going to just go in with some Abaddon Black and just start doing some touch-ups with the black whilst the rest of it dries. Yeah, I'll be going for like another half hour and then I'll call it for the night. So Abaddon Black, because even though I sprayed this with Chaos Black, there are some parts where it's a little bit more sheer, and I kind of want it to also be full coverage. I don't want any sheer parts on this figure. Cat is back. Please behave yourself, sir. Like for this figure, I could see a lot of highlighting being like the main focus. Like really making all those green highlights there, because it's such a dark figure. It's going to be really, really important that I get the highlights right. Perk of using a base coat that is already black as well is that what I'm doing now is more so cleaning up rather than having to paint the whole thing. So that does make it a little bit easier when it comes to doing the figure. It's obviously less time consuming that way. I'm going to back in with some, where are you hiding? Rackar flesh, because up here in the chest section are more of the robes, the more linen-y stuff. So I'm just going to go in and cover those as well. The green that I'll be using to highlight as well is also going to be brought into the linens, like the robes and stuff. So I want to make sure it's the same colour so it all ties in together and it's pretty uniform. Right, or how is Ark going? Just count a little bit more paint. Yeah, I think next week or the week after I'm going to get my mother-in-law or my friend to kind of take the wee man for a few hours, just so Mr. Dad and I can have a little bit of a break, catch up on some sleep, clean the house, you know, do regular adult stuff and not regular parent stuff. Just to allow ourselves a little bit of time to recharge, because when I had that little day, that few hours to myself on Saturday, it was such a godsend. It was so necessary, so needed. Coat 2 of the underside of the robes. I think it's going to need 3 coats in total though. Switch to a slightly bigger brush, I think, if I can find one. Ooh. There we go. Yeah, definitely 3 coats, I think, bare minimum, to make sure that's fully covered. Okay, I'm just debating which part we want to next. Because I've got the reference photo on my phone, so I'm just looking occasionally when my hand's not on the screen. I'm just jumping between the two just to double check exactly what it is I'm looking at. I think I'll do his other shoulder piece. Just then at least his shoulders are done for today. Can do that in the next 20 minutes. Ooh. Maybe don't throw your paintbrushes everywhere, that would be a great idea. Right, for this one it's going with a little bit of corn red. And some Celestial Grey as well, but I will focus on the red for now. Corn red is definitely the superior red, that's for sure. And then on his kneecap there's some crossed swords here that are in red. So I'm just going to quickly paint those. There we go. I'm just about to see them there on the kneecap. And some laurel leaves as well. So I'm just gonna... Oops, I immediately got red on my linens, but that's okay. I can go in and cover that up in a moment. But there's that one. Now for just a few black touch-ups. So again, using Abaddon Black. And he's progressed well. Thank you. Yeah, so we've done a little bit of red on his shoulder and on his knee cap. We've gone over and done a second coat of Rakar flesh on the underside of his cape. We're doing a second coat now on the linens on his chest. But yeah. I think we're going to be in a position, like I'm going to do his helmet in a minute because that is mostly just silver. So I'm going to paint that silver. Whilst the rest of it dries. But the back's coming together pretty nicely. We're in a position now with the back where it just kind of needs shading and highlighting more or less, and then like a couple of extra coats maybe of paints, but overall is okay. The backs of his knees, because I'm doing some touch-ups now, I'm just going to go in and do some Abaddon black on those, just to make sure that everything is even. And I think we'll be in a position by tomorrow's stream, because we've only got about 15 minutes before I call it for this one. Tomorrow's stream will be in a position where we are wrapping up the base paints and shading, and maybe even starting some highlighting tomorrow. But obviously that's nowhere near done because I've still got the rest of his base to finish off and 3 other pieces. So this is going to be, in my opinion, I want to say, like I said, a week and a half the other day. I think it's going to be about a week, maybe. Because last time for 40k line, I gave myself a week and I finished him in 4 days. And there were a lot less parts for that one. So I think I'm going to give myself about a week. I feel that's pretty doable. But if it takes longer, it takes longer. If it takes less, it takes less. We'll figure it out. I haven't heard little man crying for the last like 20 minutes, so I think he's hopefully, for Mr. Nerd's sake, dropped off to sleep for a bit. And for my sake too, I hope. Because I often find, like I said, Mr. Nerd gets him to drop off and then I can crack on with a few more things because we don't then need to disturb him. We just kind of leave him to sleep for a bit until he wakes up on his own. But we shall have to wait and see. There's been times where Mr. Nerd has kind of been ready to hand him back off to me at the end of stream. Sometimes he brings him down just as I'm finishing and he's like, here you go. And he's wide awake and just happy to be there. And then like I said, other times where he's just fast asleep and happy to stay asleep. So it just depends. Just gonna double check that I'm correct in thinking the helmet is silver. No, there's lots of silver trim. That's why I was thinking it was silver. So, I think we're going to go and do some silver trim then. I think that's what we'll do until we finish stream today. So my energy levels obviously have not been as high today, so I do apologise for that. I'm just very tired and feeling a bit meh today. But hopefully tomorrow will be better, because hopefully tonight I'll get more sleep. I'm hopeful. I really am hopeful. I'm really trying. Like, so the only time over the next few weeks where I won't be streaming, like if I'm not going to stream, I'll let you guys know. I won't just leave you guys in the lurch. I will let you know on the days that I'm not going to be streaming. so you guys aren't waiting around for me to go live. If that's what anybody does, obviously, I'm not saying people do that. But just in case they were looking forward to it, because at least they know what to expect. And the silver trim actually works really well on this figure. I like it a lot. Like, I'm not too bothered about making it too neat, because like I said, I've still got to go in with Abaddon Black and do some cleaning up. So I'm trying my best to make it as neat as I can. But in the same breath, if it does get a bit messy, it's not the end of the world. Because I've still got cleaning up to do. Ooh. But we've definitely made some decent progress today. That's for sure. Very cool. I'll leave his feet until like right towards the end to the trim on those, because obviously I don't have anything to put this on a base on, because the base itself that he's eventually going to be stood on is like this, so I can't really clip it onto a fitted platform to kind of like hold the figure. So I'm having to hold on to something, and in this case it's his foot, so I don't want to paint that and then have to go over and repaint it, because obviously where my fingers have been, it will just rub off the paint. And I don't want to have to redo my progress again and again. So instead, we're going to leave that until right at the end before I put him on his base. That'll be his legs/feet will be the last thing I actually work on. Because then at least I can hold him by different points that are already finished. And it makes it a little bit easier to manage. I think what I will do quickly though before we finish is I'll quickly go in with some Celestia Grey. And I'll do his wings on his helmet. And then I think we'll call it there once his wings are done. We've just done quite a lot more than I thought we'd get done. Considering the fact that most of my stream yesterday was me painting just blue onto the base, and that was it. Though once I get an airbrush that works well, I will definitely be using an airbrush. Because we've got like a bunch of plastic containers and stuff, so I can definitely set up like a system inside my house, like in a ventilated area, where I can put the bait, like put it inside of a plastic tub in a ventilated area, use the airbrush, spray it for you guys to see, and then whilst that's drying, move on to something else, so that then you guys aren't missing out on any progress, but I can still actually do stuff inside without having to go out into my garden every time I need to spray something. Like this week, every time I've needed to spray something, because it's been miserable, because normally I spray them in like a little cubby that we've got in the garden, which is like out in the open so the air can get to it and make it dry a bit quicker. But because it's been so wet, I've had to go in the shed to spray stuff. I'm telling you, once you start doing Zental primes and then spraying contrast is a game changer. That's the main thing I want to look at is spraying contrast paints, because like I said, I'm still learning with contrast paints. That's my aim for this year, is to improve on that. So I think if I can spray contrast paints, then I think that will be, like I said, a game changer. That'll be the winning combination. But there we are, that's the wings of his helmet having their first coat. Tomorrow we will do their second coat. But yeah, I'm going to leave it at that for today. Need to make sure I've got all my caps for my brushes so I don't lose them to a cat trying to eat them. Because these aren't the cheapest brushes, but they are good brushes. But thank you everybody for joining the stream today. So obviously Gray, thank you for sticking around to the very end. Piotr, Krytor, thank you so much. And then right at the very beginning, we had the lovely Multi-Caligo. So thank you everybody for joining us today. It's been really, really greatly appreciated. Again, I apologise for the fact that I haven't been that high energy. I've been pretty sleepy. But fingers crossed, tonight I can get some decent sleep and be back with a better mindset tomorrow. And hopefully be a little bit more chipper and more caffeinated. Definitely more caffeinated. But again, thank you so much everybody. It's been a wonderful couple of hours. Thank you everybody for keeping me company whilst I've been painting. Happy to have made some decent progress, and I'm obviously very happy for you guys to be here with me whilst I'm doing it. So again, we'll be back tomorrow where we'll continue painting Mr. Lion here. We'll be finishing off his base paints tomorrow and then probably shading him tomorrow. And then obviously doing any cleanup tomorrow as well. And then after that, it will be probably one whole day, one whole shift just dedicated to highlighting. And then we move on to doing the bases. And the line is great. Rest up. Love to the fam. Thank you so much, Gray. Thank you again so much for being here. We will see you tomorrow. So have a lovely evening or day, whatever time of the day it is for you guys in the world. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.